The first time we meet the Big Bang Theory's Sheldon Cooper and Leonard Hofstadter, they're making a deposit at a sperm bank set up for geniuses. Weird, right? While they might be insanely smart, they're also socially awkward, and they definitely don't know how to talk to women. This bizarre visit sets the stage for meeting their beautiful new neighbor, Penny, who moves in during the first episode.
New neighbor?
Evidently.
Significant improvement over the old neighbor.
But that opening sperm bank scene? It's been removed from a number of airings of the series. While the scene is featured in the version of the show streaming on Max, as well as in the show's original unaired pilot, it was cut from other syndicated versions. In the oral history book The Big Bang Theory, the definitive inside story of the epic hit series creator Chuck Lorre says that he pulled it on purpose. He told author Jessica Radloff, "In my mind, the show truly began with those awkward hellos between Penny, Sheldon, and Leonard when she's unpacking boxes in her apartment."
Leonard, Sheldon.
Hi.
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 Lorre wasn't the only one who didn't like the scene. It was also cut from editions shown on American Airlines. In its place was an intro from actors Johnny Galecki and Jim Parsons, who explained that the scene was a little grown up. Before the show even went to air, though, there was another huge change. In the original pilot, Leonard and Sheldon leave the sperm bank and meet a girl named Katie. She's been kicked out of her apartment post-breakup. They invite her to live with them, to Sheldon's total dismay.
We have a spare room.
No, we don't.
Gilda, another neighbor who's crushing on Leonard, dislikes Katie. Leonard and Katie fight, make up, and we learn she works at a makeup counter.
You're calling me stupid.
No, I said you make stupid choices.
Because I'm stupid.
But what's really weird about this version is that Sheldon is, sexual. He even talks about what kind of porn he likes.
You're an ass man. Stipulated. Now let's go eat.
In the retooled pilot, Penny has replaced both Katie and Gilda, and she actually has a life that's more together than Katie's. She's a waitress at the Cheesecake Factory, and her first encounter with Leonard and Sheldon is awkward but friendly. Leonard immediately begins crushing on Penny. It's a feeling that she doesn't quite return, at least this early in the show.
Our babies will be smart and beautiful.
The rest of the plot is different too. Sheldon and Leonard get pantsed as they try to retrieve Penny's TV set from an angry ex. Penny ends up feeling sorry for them, which encourages Leonard's crush. And even though she's not living with them like Katie was, the three become fast friends. Clearly, the pilot version that went to air was the right choice.
Show creator Chuck Lorre says the original Penny on The Big Bang Theory was hated by audiences, but the audience's intense dislike for the character had nothing to do with the actor's performance. Kaley Cuoco didn't play Penny in the unaired pilot of The Big Bang Theory. The role went to Amanda Walsh, who played Katie, the show's original female lead. However, audiences didn't really like Walsh. In a 2022 interview with Entertainment Weekly commemorating the show's 15th anniversary, creators Bill Prady and Chuck Lorre looked back on the sitcom's rocky start. Prady revealed, "In the first pilot, the female character is kind of rough. She's dangerous in a way and wasn't very nice to the guys." Later in the interview, Lorre confirmed that audiences hated Walsh's character. Prady seconded that sentiment, but then provided important context as to why the audience disliked Katie so much. It stemmed from how she treated two of the show's leads, Sheldon Cooper and Leonard Hofstadter. Lorre told Entertainment Weekly, "We didn't realize early on that the audience viewed them as children. They were very naive and childlike, regardless of how intelligent they were. They were very vulnerable, and the audience didn't want a toxic presence around them." In the original pilot, the Katie character is indeed more antagonistic toward the guys. While Sheldon and Leonard go on to have an almost sibling-like relationship with Penny in the early seasons, the pilot's Katie has a harsh attitude and is quick with cutting insults. Lorre explained, "That's why we rewrote Katie to become Penny and made her much more charmed by the guys and kind to them, as opposed to a woman who would take advantage of them." Unfortunately for Walsh, audiences weren't fans of how mean she was to Leonard and Sheldon, so the pilot was reshot with Cuoco. The rest is history. However, Lorre and Prady believe they messed up with the original iteration of Penny and feel Walsh did a good job with what she was given to work with. Lorre confessed to Entertainment Weekly she was terrific in the role, but the role was misconceived. It was our responsibility. Prady shared that sentiment and had nothing but high praise for Walsh. He added, "Yeah, she was actually a very sweet person, and it was a lot of work for her to become that rough character." Walsh had hoped to return to play the revamped Penny, but it didn't work out. Prady shared to the outlet, "She had been so identified as that first character that it wasn't able to happen. Cuoco was cast instead, and because of her outstanding performance, Penny became an invaluable addition to the Big Bang Theory. What's particularly striking is that the characters' two closest relationships are with Sheldon and Leonard. After Leonard falls for Penny, the two shared a typical sitcom will they, won't they dynamic for the first 5 seasons, before embarking on a real relationship. Not only do Penny and Leonard get married twice, but the series finale reveals that they're expecting a baby. However, Penny's friendship with Sheldon might be even more important to the show's overall success. Though they couldn't be more different, he ultimately realizes that she truly cares about him.
Oh, Penny, Penny, Penny.
Oh, what?
From the time Sheldon brings Penny to the hospital when she dislocates her shoulder, to Sheldon's birthday party, where Penny is the only person who can help him as he hides in the bathroom, the two are undeniably close. And it's all due to Penny's inherently kind, sweet spirit.
Fans of The Big Bang Theory can point out plenty of fun moments from the show's 12 seasons. From that time Penny gives Jim Parsons' Sheldon the ultimate Christmas gift, to the scene in which Penny solves string theory. It's hard to get any consensus on which of the CBS sitcom seasons viewers like the best, although most seem to prefer the first 6 seasons. Naturally, the actors all have their own favorite moments, and several of them come in the season 4 episode called The Agreement Dissection. Parsons told TBS, "I loved the structure of this episode, the way I got to sort of take part in 2 different storylines, girls' night and the fight over the roommate agreement at home. It was also a really fun episode with Mayim Bialik." And in a 2011 San Diego Comic-Con panel in which the actors were asked about their favorite moments from season 4, Bialik joked that a kiss between her character Amy and Penny was hers.
I kissed a girl and I liked it.
What happened to you?
And then Bialik said more seriously that the drunken kiss between Amy and Sheldon was really her favorite. Cuoco also revealed her favorite moment as being from that episode, since she had to convince an actor to sexually harass her on screen. Cuoco explained that the scene was her favorite moment of season 4, although it was hard for her to pick just one. She said, "I guess it was where I had a lovely man have to grab my ass in an episode when we were dancing. And he was a little older man, and he was so nervous. And it was so against everything he believed in, and I was like, honey, just grab it, just do it." And he closed his eyes and just went for it. In the episode, Sheldon crashes a girls' night after lawyer Priya basically nullifies the roommate agreement he has with Leonard. When Amy, Penny, and Bernadette discover that Sheldon can do the cha-cha, rumba, and waltz, they decide to take him to a place they can waltz. At a dance hall, an older man asks Bernadette to dance. When she says no, he asks Penny, and she agrees. As he takes her out to the floor, however, the man takes a certain liberty until Penny slides his hand back into place. The man in question is Gabriel Sy, an actor who has just a few credits to his name. In fact, his part in the agreement dissection is so small that it isn't one of them. Wherever he is now, though, he can say his tiny little role had an outsized effect on a favorite episode of The Big Bang Theory. Kaley Cuoco was happy to let an older man squeeze her butt for the aforementioned scene. That said, while she was clearly committed to the part, she made sure that Penny was presented as more than an object for people's desires on the later seasons of The Big Bang Theory. In an interview with W Magazine, Cuoco said that she was happy for her character to be sexualized during the earlier seasons of the sitcom. At the time, it made sense as Leonard and his friends were crushing on her. She said,
"It was the cute girl next door to the nerds, right? It was all about booty shorts and juicy couture zip-ups."
However, both Penny and Cuoco grew up as time went on, and Cuoco wanted the character to be shown in a different light to reflect that, especially when it came to her outfits.
All of a sudden, it's like, can I have like a long sleeve shirt? How about a slack? How about a loafer? I never want to see that high heel ever again.
Penny may be the black sheep of the Big Bang crew, but on at least one occasion, she was more of a big bully. In a way, the entire series is predicated on her entrance into the lives of the show's principal nerds, and the various ways she lives up to and defies the blonde stereotypes that provide an early source for the show's unique brand of humor.
I'm a vegetarian, no, except for fish and the occasional steak. I love steak.
Well, that's interesting.
Much of the humor on The Big Bang Theory is derived from Penny making fun of Leonard, Sheldon, and their friends for being geeks, and from her own ditzy and flirty behavior. Penny and Leonard's unlikely romance is also the butt of countless jokes, reminding the audience time and again that when opposites attract, wacky and weird hijinks ensue. However, there are times when it's hard to ignore that Penny and Leonard are woefully mismatched, infusing the sitcom with moments that can be hard to watch. In fact, Season 7, Episode 12 contains a scene in which fans agree that Penny goes too far in her mistreatment of Leonard.
Are you kidding me?
In the hesitation ramification, Penny is cast on an episode of NCIS. After her scene is cut, a depressed and drunken Penny tells Leonard she spent 10 years in California and she has nothing to show for it. Leonard points out that she has him, and Penny tells him he's right and proposes.
Let's get married.
What?
When Leonard hesitates, Penny gets upset, takes back the proposal, and storms out of Leonard's apartment. Leonard begins to question if he and Penny have a future together, and it's obvious Leonard is heartbroken. Throughout the entire episode, Penny treats Leonard badly, particularly when he does something she perceives as criticism or rejection. Fans took to Reddit to discuss this episode and specific scene, and their comments do not paint a flattering picture of Penny, with everyone firmly on Team Leonard. One user wrote, "I believe Leonard did the right thing by saying no to Penny's drunken proposal. If he did say yes to the proposal, I think he would feel like he would have been taking advantage of her in her drunken state." Another Redditor was particularly unkind in their assessment of Penny, writing, "Penny is a legitimate alcoholic. I don't remember an episode where she hasn't had a drink. Is there one?" Another user went in on Penny further, writing, "Penny is selfish, rude, and sometimes cruel to the man she's supposed to love. Leonard doesn't seem to have any dignity left." It's a pretty harsh take on our tow-headed heroine, especially considering the delicate state the episode finds her in. It's worth noting that Penny has just experienced a major career disappointment, one that quite reasonably might make her a tad sensitive to any additional rejection in her life. Perhaps Penny's reaction to Leonard's hesitation to accept her proposal on The Big Bang Theory would have generated more sympathy from viewers if fans didn't already have issues with their relationship. There is no shortage of Reddit chatter devoted to the topic of Penny and Leonard's partnership, and why Penny is a terrible partner for Leonard. One Reddit thread simply titled, "I Hate Penny," consists of ruthless takedowns of the character. As one user put it, "She constantly fights with Leonard and walks all over him." Considering Penny's negative behavior after Leonard doesn't respond the way she wants him to after she asks him to marry her, this opinion is not without merit. Penny attempts to exploit Leonard to make herself feel better, while also taking advantage of his feelings for her. Leonard actually proposes to Penny long before she pops the question. He first asks her in The Big Bang Theory Season 5, Episode 23, The Launch Acceleration, and she responds with frustration and anger, in part because of Leonard's poor timing.
It's the heat of the moment.
No, the heat of the moment is, oh yeah, just like that. Not, will you marry me?
As you might be able to guess, she ultimately tells him no. As some disappointed fans interpret it, in Penny's mind, rejection is only understandable or acceptable if she's the one saying no.
Amy Farrah Fowler was a mainstay on The Big Bang Theory for most of its run, and viewers may think they know her character inside and out. But seriously, why doesn't she wear pants? Even some die-hard fans probably didn't notice that the plotline unfolds almost entirely with Amy decked out in skirts and tights. Even fewer may realize that was the case because Bialik's religious beliefs deem that she rarely, if ever, wears pants. The actor confirmed as much in a post to her website Grok Nation, writing that she very rarely wears pants when she's not at home. She elaborated that the reason for this decision is to follow the Jewish standards of Tanias, which means dressing and conducting yourself modestly in public. Bialik made that claim while discussing a pair of The Big Bang Theory episodes that required her to don pants, noting the first instance was a scene that specifically references Amy's sweatpants.
Just wear something comfortable.
All right. I'll have to go shopping.
The second came during Season 12's infamous paintball episode, in which Amy dons camouflage attire appropriate for running around a forested battlefield. Discussing the paintball episode in greater detail, Bialik clarified that while she wasn't thrilled about her wardrobe, she admitted she was comfortable enough, writing, "I was glad the jacket was roomy and comfy, so I didn't feel as self-conscious as I usually do. It also was very reasonable to me that my character would indeed wear pants to play paintball." More importantly, Bialik noted the sub-tactical gear was sort of welcome, as the scene required the cast to work outdoors and it was unusually cold in the Los Angeles area the day they shot the episode. She recalled that, while some co-stars were even donning puffy coats and hand warmers to stay warm between takes, her typical habit of layering put her in a better position to deal with the climate. Perhaps more challenging for the cast is that the location shoot required much earlier call times than usual. Additionally, they were not shooting in front of a live studio audience, which may have left some actors out of their element. However, while Bialik acknowledged it took some time to acclimate to the setting, filming was still a blast. She wrote, "Many of us were very sleepy and kind of punch drunk, and we ended up laughing a lot all day, which was nice." Bialik was happy to wear pants for the Big Bang Theory episodes that called for it, and likewise, the sitcom's creators were more than willing to accommodate her wardrobe needs whenever possible. However, being Jewish in Hollywood has sometimes been challenging for the former Jeopardy host, especially regarding what she has to wear in the public eye. While speaking to the Jerusalem Post, Bialik opened up about her difficulties as a Jewish woman in the entertainment industry, noting that her style sometimes puts her at a disadvantage. Speaking about the challenge of honoring her faith while also adhering to the industry's standards, she observed, "For me, though, it's more the aspects of the red carpet and needing to wear designer clothes that are strapless and all of those things that I don't do and that are actually extremely stressful and difficult to work around because it is a big part of the industry. The goal is to be competitive." Fortunately, Bialik does have some good advisors on her side. Speaking with James Corden, she claimed that her mom provided fashion feedback after each Jeopardy episode, and she was never afraid to criticize her daughter's attire if she wasn't a fan.
What scene had Mayim Bialik feeling immensely stressed out and self-conscious? Making the show wasn't without its difficulties for Bialik, especially when it came to filming the show's iconic wedding scene. At the end of season 11, Amy and Sheldon finally get married. But while fans of the show were jumping for joy behind the scenes, it was extremely difficult for Bialik to pretend to be a smiling, happy bride. In a blog post published on Grok Nation the night before the episode aired, she revealed that it really affected her on a personal level because, as a divorced woman, it's hard to revisit that moment and those decisions. She also revealed that prior to filming the scenes, she had been out sick for a month. The illness was treated with antibiotics, which promoted weight gain. She wrote that she, quote, felt ashamed and that she felt like people were judging her weight and appearance despite the fact that she had no control over it. She wrote, "Even though everyone said I looked beautiful, I didn't feel completely beautiful." Feeling down and out regarding her appearance during her wedding episode of The Big Bang Theory wasn't the only issue Bialik had to contend with. Like many performers, Bialik had been open about her battle with anxiety. She spoke about it at length during a 2021 episode of her podcast, Bialik Breakdown. While speaking with her Big Bang Theory co-star Kevin Sussman, Bialik said,
"With acting stuff, my level of anxiety surrounding performing is very, very high.
And unfortunately, it's only heightened when she does improvisational acting, something she was called upon to do occasionally on The Big Bang Theory." She explained, "And when I've tried to do things like improv, things that are very kind of freeform, I freeze. I literally freeze. It's like an instant knot in your throat. It's stuck and there are tears there. Like, I want to cry." Even for the most successful stars, it's not easy. And Bialik went on to discuss how specifically it impacted her time on Big Bang Theory. "I've had this a handful of times when working on Big Bang Theory when there was a certain way they wanted a line delivered and I was like, oh, okay, I got that. I'll do that in the next take. And I do it, but it's still not right. And sometimes it's like the audience isn't laughing. You know, it's not funny. I can usually do about 4 takes or 5 takes before my throat starts to do that thing." While discussing her social anxiety, Bialik revealed on her YouTube channel that she has made the decision not to take medication.
I choose to live with it and to struggle through it and to find new ways that I can feel freer to be myself.
Fortunately, there are other ways in which Bialik manages her anxiety. She revealed that she goes to therapy and practices meditation. She's also a big fan of weighted blankets. It may have been tough. Fortunately, resources are available to those who struggle with anxiety, and Bialik was able to do phenomenally during her time on The Big Bang Theory.